So I'm Jeremy Varon. I'm here representing Witness Against Torture. The organization formed in 2005 when 25 people motivated by their faith and religious principles around basic justice went on a pilgrimage to Guantanamo to vigil, fast, protest, and pray as close to the naval base as they could. George Bush had said, if you're concerned about what's going on in Guantanamo, why don't you come and see for yourself? And that's exactly what they attempted to do. That was the birth of Witness Against Torture. And then for many years, and up until this day, it has been steadfast in trying to close the torture prison of Guantanamo, provide compensation for the victims, accountability for the torturers, and a permanent end to U.S. torture policies. What has motivated us throughout, and what accounts for my presence today, is the solemn pledge we made to center in all of our work the suffering of the Guantanamo victims in defense of their dignity and the dignity and human rights of all. So we decided we would remain in this struggle so long as the prison remained open. And then sadly, it remains open. Just a couple of dozen people are there any longer. A handful of them might genuinely be bad guys, and their trial for their alleged perpetration for the crimes of 9/11 hasn't really started in earnest. The sticking point for many, many years has been the fact that they were tortured by the U.S. government, begging the question of what right does the U.S. have to prosecute folks who are themselves victims of U.S. crimes. There's a handful of other folks who've never, ever been charged with crimes and who may well not be guilty of any conceivable hostility towards, the United States. So Guantanamo is a sad symbol of nothing less than what I will call American evil, and a sad symbol of our national failure, including under two Democratic administrations, Obama and Biden, to reckon with, confront, and try to purge that evil. The United States in the war on terror marauded around the world, brutalizing populations that it occupied in the name of the defense of democracy, but that was a sham. And then sadly, as never before, that same marauding has boomeranged now onto American streets, where we have the hideous specter of masked men with big guns, granted preposterously absolute immunity by Vice President Vance, menacing, beating up, tackling, tear gassing, and harassing not only people suspected of being in the United States illegally, but those who seek to defend immigrant communities. I'll end with one interesting fact that has gotten too little attention. The person who killed Miss Good was himself a veteran of the Iraq War. And he was actually a machine gunner on armed patrols. We know from histories of the Iraq War that one of the most common ways in which Iraqi civilians died was being gunned down at checkpoints when they didn't stop in time or heed a command in English that they didn't understand, or panicked or were afraid or tried to drive away. And the price for that confusion or that defiance or that fear was often death. And Mr. Ross, I believe that's his name, appears to have murdered Good in a scenario eerily similar to what he, or at least other U.S. soldiers, experienced in Iraq. So all of this is to say that American war-making and predation abroad, which always echoed the racism and inhumanity of domestic policies, is now reinforcing and being answered by, brutality at home in a truly frightful collapse of the rule of law and what appears common sense decency. The hope lies in the resistance. Our vigil today, the marchers who are going to come down the street, the amazing people in Minneapolis, the amazing people of Chicago, the amazing people of Los Angeles, the amazing people all over the country who say this is not who we should be as a nation and a people. There's a better way. Thank you.